I'm back in Drumnadrochit for a couple of weeks. I'm preparing for an exhibition which is due to open at Talonmara in July. So if you happen to be on Harris in July, please do drop me a message or come and say hello. I'll be exhibiting throughout the whole of July at Talonmara, which is on the Isle of Harris. And I'm here at the moment because I have a few bits and pieces to tidy up. I have to pack my van to take another load of furniture over to Harris, and I have a wedding. I'm actually going to Mull tomorrow for a wedding. So in the meantime, I have been printing and organising the exhibition ahead of July, so I'm nice and prepared when it comes round. So the delivery man has just dropped off my new books. So I wanted to tell you the story of this book and just to show you it a little bit. So a few weeks ago, I decided that I needed to crack on with getting this book designed, because actually I realised suddenly it's almost June and I needed to get this done. And I'd kind of like got a little bit sidetracked with everything else that was going on in life, and the months had gone by and I suddenly realised I hadn't actually even designed it. I've been thinking a lot more about how I can get things done faster and whether I'm just slow at producing things, because sometimes it feels like that. And I wonder if we can do the same amount in a quicker space of time. So whether that's something in your mind where you can just unblock those things and just get on with things rather than procrastinating, or whether that is actually something that you can work on consciously. So that was my little experiment, and I sat a few weeks ago to simply go through the images, put them together, create some chapters and pop them into a usable format for my designer. I've got a designer who actually puts the books together for me, so that's a lot faster. And I sat and I just did it, and it took me 2 days. I had a 2-day deadline. This book is Still Waters, so this is all about my years of photographing on Loch Ness. I decided to go with the same format as the book that was originally produced for the Bosham Gallery when I had an exhibition. So we've got the same size and the same kind of idea. Obviously the cover is different and the design is different, but the process and the concept behind the book is very similar. So when I went to design and produce this book, I spent quite a long time looking for a printer and looking for a format. Then in the future, I consciously thought, well, what I'd like to do is produce a series of books that are fairly easy to design and to produce. So this, I'm going to show you, it's my new book. Very proud of it because it's just so lovely, and actually it's just worked so well, even though it was designed within just a few days. This is all part of a project which I started quite a few years ago, about 4 years ago. Now, I decided that I was going to go into the water. I wanted to photograph the Hebrides from a different angle, so I decided in the water was the way to go forwards. So I began shooting as much as I could, and one of the very special times was in February when there was a lot of snow in Harris, and I managed to get in the water with the snow on the beach and on the mountains, and we had a very still morning. Just stunning. Some of these memories are just amazing. So I decided to very, very simply break the book up into 4 chapters. So I have turquoise, which is all the underwater images where it's clear and sunny and blue, and you can see those turquoises beneath the water. And then we move on to frozen, which is when I was frozen, and some of the stormier images from the water. The next chapter then was first light, because a lot of the times I'm in the water in the morning, and those experiences in the water just fantastic. Some of the best experiences are actually when birds fly in the morning, and they tend to fly really close and skim along the surface. Are just such a wonderful thing. And then the last chapter is called Below. These are just images of literally being below the water. So that was the process, just literally popping chapters in of different styles of images and then having a little bit of thought about how to put them together. But the bigger, more powerful breakthrough came actually at the end of the book. I was sitting there thinking, well, I wonder what would be more interesting than just simply the images in different chapters. And I thought, well, actually, there's a lot of background to this book and this project. And I started to think, actually, hang on a minute, I wonder if I get my old sketchbooks and my old journals back from university. And this is where the story actually began. So I'll show you one of the journals that I have. It's falling apart actually, but this is the exterior. That's the back of it. And in that journal, which has actually emptied all its contents at the moment, there are lots and lots of notes about the sea. And you can see here, these are test prints from images that I took when I was on my surfboard in university in Swansea. So I'd take my camera out onto the surfboard and I would actually produce some of the sort of images that I'm producing now. The similarity is just absolutely striking. So I delved a little bit deeper into that. I wrote a little bit for the back of the book, and I've put some sort of scrapbooking images from my past in. And the point is that everything that we do in life, it can be connected. We can see these threads coming through our life, and once we connect them, we really start to understand actually that's what we loved all along. It just sometimes gets buried. It gets buried by judgment and critique and marking and comments of other people. Sometimes getting back to that is just so important, and I really feel like with this exhibition and this book, I've got back to who I am, and I've been able to lay it out in a readable format. So I hope you get a chance to see my exhibition. I know that Harris in July is not achievable for everybody, but I'll be doing some video from Harris. And if you want a copy of the book, I have actually shut my online shop now. In the process of moving and simplifying everything, I've decided to keep it shut, but I will be opening it only once this year in October for a few days. And I'll be promoting that, so you'll know when that's actually open. But what I've decided to do is to sell my book only in July online. So it'll be a special in July. There'll be a limited amount of copies. And of course, you can buy them in person in Harris as well. So I hope that gave you a little insight into how this project and this book came about, and it gave you some inspiration. Maybe look into your past. Maybe see what those threads are, see what those passions are, and you'll find a connection eventually. And then maybe you can dig them back up and bring them back to life somehow.